What's going on, all you Zack Snyder fans out there? Your two favorite science fiction enthusiasts are back tonight, and we're back from the Rebel Moon. We're here to review Zack Snyder's sequel, Part 2 to the Rebel Moon saga, Rebel Moon, Part 2, The Scargiver.
I'm sorry. I won't allow this place to die for me. God, save
Sequel to the first movie, Rebel Moon. Of course, Zack Snyder at the helm with writing and directing this film. And this time around, of course, we have Kora and the rest of the crew, the Warriors. They're defending Veldt, their new home, essentially. And they're trying to fight and save people against the Realm, which is basically the dark side Vader, a ripoff of Vader and all them.
Yes, to a T. It's literally copy and paste, Star Wars, the Rebels versus the Empire, really not too much different here. In part 2, we learn that Atticus Noble seemingly defeated in the first one, but he's back. Ed Skrein back, and a good villain. I like him. He really has a menacing presence on screen and does a good job in this. We have Michael Huisman. Oh, Gunner. Gunner's back. Gunner and Kora, they really build their relationship throughout most of this film. They get close, they sleep together, yada, yada, yada. It's a love story. But yeah, this movie takes a lot of setting up. Like in the beginning, it took a while to get to the action is one thing that I noticed in this one. But, really trying to build up that world again. And then, they come back and Atticus Noble's looking for Kora. And eventually, by the end of the film, they clash. And, the second half of the movie is more action oriented, whereas it takes a while to get going. I feel like something needed to happen quicker than it did in this. The first half of this movie really drug on for me. Whereas the first one, I was, invested. All the characters were new, get to know everybody. This one took a long time. It was more of a slow pace and took a while to get into the action. Overall, I was into it, but not as much as the first one. I think the first one was better. And that was mainly due to the slow setup and the slow buildup. But we get some, good performances. We have Jamon Hensu back as Titus. Like I mentioned, Michael Huisman, Sophia Boutella. Sophia Boutella's Kora. She's badass. I believe her as the hero here. She's a tough chick, and she gets her time to shine in this movie. She's the star. And by the end of the film, when she finally goes toe to toe with Atticus Noble, that's what you want to see. And so I was waiting for that to happen. And she gets a haircut in this one too. She cuts off her little bob haircut there, and she gets more like the shaved sides, the more of a buzz cut in this one. And that leads to some cool battle scenes with her and Atticus.
For real, for real? I was waiting for her to pull out her phone and do a TikTok video with the haircut and everything.
I know, right?
That's us. That's us. But yeah, she was probably the best part of the movie next to Michael Huisman. Oh,
yeah.
Michael. Yeah, they had, a convincing relationship, and she's a badass as Kora. The first movie she was incredible. This movie, really badass chick too, with a new haircut, new look, and she's just taking on bad guys left and right, making it look easy. And you could tell she was having a blast in this role and really taking it seriously. The rest of the cast not so much. I didn't feel like this movie had, the strong character development as it did in the first movie. I really went into the first movie with low expectations. I remember we both really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, great sci-fi action movie. And this movie just kind of felt hollow and boring and didn't really feel attached to too much to the story or the characters. And it's felt kind of bored. The first 45 minutes really dragged. And then the last half, I thought, like you said, was much better with the action set pieces. Of course, this is Zack Snyder movie. You have the lens flares, you have the extreme slow motion shots, action shots, shooting the gun like Kora, and everything you would see in a Zack Snyder movie. But it just lacked originality, I guess, in the sequel movie. It just wasn't as good as the first.
No, I was hoping that it would build upon the first one, but it seemed like it took a step back, really. They introduced some new characters. Nemesis is like Bae Doona. She was the badass there with the lightsaber. I don't even know what they call them in this movie, but it's basically a lightsaber. And she lost an arm in it. She had like a robot robotic arm. She was badass with the sword. There were some cool fight scenes, but ask me a lot about the plot, I couldn't tell you, and that's due to the script here. It's kind of, they're building this relationship between Kora and Gunner here, and there really wasn't much else to do with the character building. I just, kind of left this movie when it was over as like, oh, okay, that was a pretty cool, final 45 minutes of action. It was kind of nonstop there at the end, but overall left disappointed because I would have liked to have been invested in the characters more. And, you figure you would have got that from the first hour of the movie being such a slow buildup. It just felt like there were a lot of scenes cut together, trying to highlight the love between Gunner and Kora, but just not enough, to be invested in. I didn't really care, unfortunately. I cared more for the action, and it was more of the same as Zack Snyder, like you mentioned, the slow shots of Kora and Atticus battling, and everything was a slow motion scene, them jumping in the air and sliding down things. And, you had even like the X-Wing battle that they ripped, straight from Star Wars 2 at the end with the gunships and stuff. There's not a lot of originality here. I just was left a little disappointed by this sequel. definitely enjoyed the first one more than I did this, but it wasn't terrible by any means. I'm not going to shit on it. It's better than I could make. We'll put it that way. But I was expecting more and hoping for more.
Well, Zack Snyder pitched this to Disney Lucasfilm. They said no, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll make a Star Wars movie anyways." That's what he did, and this one is just so heavy-handed, right? It's just copy and pasted from a lot of the Star Wars movies, and just felt lazy. Like the past two Zack Snyder films he's put out, I've enjoyed Army of the Dead, and then of course Rebel Moon, the first movie. This one just felt really bland, hollow, copy and pasted, no thought, just like cliche Zack Snyder, set pieces and shots in the movie, and just like, okay, this is what we'll do with this. Good versus evil, right? And against the realm. And Ed Skrein was great as the villain. He's always great. And that was convincing. Just felt like it was a hollow movie all around though. And really didn't grab my attention, and it's kind of painful to get through.
Yeah, unfortunately, I thought the same as you. A lot of cool characters, but nothing felt wholly original. It just felt like a kind of a different version of Star Wars, really. Who knows if they're going to make more or not? I don't know how well it did on Netflix, but can't help but be disappointed by this. So with that being said, Uncle Henry here is going to give Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 Kora hairpieces.
I have to agree with you, my man. I'm going to give Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 Zack Snyder hairpieces. I want to hear from all you wild rascals out there. What did you think about Rebel Moon Part 2? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite film of the two? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Check out these wild sci-fi enthusiasts on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie, news, and reviews.
And as always, we love to hear from you guys. Let's keep on the conversation. Let us know if you guys actually maybe enjoyed this one more than the first one. We want to hear differing opinions. We love chatting with you guys, and we thank you so much for watching our reviews. And stay tuned to this here channel for more reviews all spring and summer long from these two wild rascals. So until the next time, I'm Uncle Henry Hill.
And I'm Uncle Logan Huseman, signing out till the next movie review.
Cheers.